Good morning, everyone. Been a little bit before we posted here in a little while and made any videos, but we've been busy trying to get one thing or another done. Been pretty occupied. But today, we're going to try to do in between the rainstorms. I'm going to try to start pruning all of our apple trees, pear trees, a couple other bushes, such as the Himalayan honeysuckle. I'm going to try to get it knocked down. Just trying to go through here and do some winter pruning that I hadn't gotten to. Try to clean things up. So here we go. Pruning. We're going to take off all of these verticals off of the espalier, 2 branches. So this is a vertical here. All of these verticals on through there. I got a bunch of verticals up here. And we're going to do the same thing. I want this no more than 6 feet, so I'm going to probably cut about this level all the way across and get this guy all cut down and get him straightened up. Excuse me. Anyhow, so here we go. Okay, here we got it all cut down, trimmed up, pruned up for the next season. I probably ought to get this one over here. I missed one. Get this guy cut off of there, and this one right here cut off there. All right, and there she goes. This right here is my Spitzenberg, and it's doing fairly decently, but it's coming along. I mean, hopefully last year we had some flower buds on it, and still no fruit yet. And the year before we had 1 set, so I'm hoping this year we start to get some more. It looks like it's starting to develop some pretty decent fruit spurs, but we'll find out. It's still a young tree. All right. Now on to this guy here. This one right here is the Granny Smith, and it's a mess. It's like 2 sticks. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to go ahead and pull these verticals off of these right here, and then I'll probably cut this side, and I'm going to use this branch right here, this long branch, as an espalier to go all the way around. And I'll probably take one of these top ones like this one right here and start to work it down and create an espalier off of that, so that way I have one down here and then one up at the top that goes around onto the side. This tree has not been doing well, so I'm going to keep at it. If I have to replace it eventually, I will, but it's too linky, and so it's not developing on the bottom enough branches out. So we're gonna try to espalier it and see if I can't get it to look similar to this right here as we get these 2 going on across. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. We shall return. Okay, I got this one all trimmed up now. This here's the Granny Smith. I got it down to just 2 runs. I got the lower now. And then this is one right here is going to be the upper, and this one right here is going to go across and espalier back, and this one here I'm going to work on this one and espalier back that way. But anyhow, it looks like a twig now. Let's cross our fingers that what we do works. Okay, here we are with the 2 pairs. We're going to drop them down now this year. They've been in the ground for 2 years, and I haven't done any pruning whatsoever to them. We had some tree damage on them, so now what we're going to do is we're going to shape, thin, and get them ready for the spring as well. And here we go. Okay, folks, we got these 2 trimmed up. This is what they look like now that I got them all cut back. Again, we're leading right about 6 feet, getting them cleaned up. This one here, same thing, 6 feet. I had a bunch of growing on, pointing on the inside, as you can see, like this one right here is from this one. Okay, I'm back. Had to go get the big loppers. We're going to be working on this eucalyptus. We had a pretty good windstorm and it was blowing, and it's pretty crooked right at this moment. So after I get done trimming, I'm going to have to straighten this tree up and get it tied off, so that way we can get it straightened back up. So project today, as well as all the others, is eucalyptus tree. Get it cut down. I want to drop it down to where it's 6 feet tall, just like I do with everything else. All right, everybody, got the eucalyptus cut down. It's a little over 6 feet, but we got it pretty much cleaned up. Got all the inner branches cut down, big main ones that were too hollow. But here is a 360 of it. Well, at least a 270 anyhow. Get all cleaned up. Here's my pile of eucalyptus. I'll get them all de-leaved and I will start packaging up for potpourri for market. But again, here is the eucalyptus all trimmed up. Alrighty, on to the next. Okay, everyone, I'm back to the next one that needs to be trimmed down. This one right here. This right here is a Himalayan honeysuckle, and we're going to cut that sucker all the way down to about 1.5 feet. So I will get back with you once that is all cut down. Alright folks, so there it is. Himalayan now cut down. So there's all that eucalyptus. This is the Himalayan honeysuckle. I'll get that all moved out of the way and get it over in the composter. I need to get that trimmed down to the ground. I'm going to leave the pineapple sage. Hummingbirds are still feeding off of it. It's December 20th, 21st. So I'm going to let it just die completely out with the flowering before I cut it. Our local hummingbirds, the ants, they absolutely love it, and so I'll leave it for them until the last minute, and then we'll cut it down. So far, so good. This is a 5-in-1 cherry right here, and right behind it is another 5-in-1 cherry as well. I think it's a fruit cocktail, but I think a majority of it is cherry. Some of the plums, nectarines, and peaches, I think on both of those have either not doing so well or died off, and it's left over just the cherries. So that's all right. We'll still get fruit from them. So as you all can see, the canopy all the way around is coming down. Keep them nice and low. That way everybody gets sunshine during the spring and fall. All right, on to the dogwoods. Okay, this right here is the yellow dogwood. I'm really not going to do too much to it. I'm just going to take these two top ones, these larger ones right here. I'm going to cut them down, and then I'm just going to leave this plant alone. It's a new one that was just planted, I think spring of this year, and then we moved it to this location. So I'm just going to leave it, nip off the really tall one right there, so that way it gives all the bottom time to flush out. But the red dogwood, I am going to probably do about 2/3 on this guy here and cut her all the way down. Not all the way down, but down. I'm going to leave it probably 1.5 feet. That way I can continue to get some red spurs like this. It also needs to fill in a little bit better. It's still, to my opinion, a little linky and thin. So I'm going to cut it. And all right, I'm back. As I was saying, I nipped just a little off of the yellow dogwood, and then the red dogwood, we cut her back. Left it about 1.5 feet, 2 feet in some areas, trimmed it all off, that way it'll start bushing out. Left a lot of the little spurs off of it. I'm hoping that it will start to thicken up a little bit. If not, I mean, still, we'll get some good new growth on it, that way it'll stay nice and fiery red. All right, I think I'm going to take a little break this morning before I start getting into any more grab some breakfast maybe, and then it'll be time to move the cardoons. Both of those cardoons are going to go back here in this. I'm gonna refrain from cleaning this mess up right now. Right now, if I can just get the cardoons in there, they'll help me weed during the spring and summer. Once they start getting growth, the big leaves will drop down. I'll put some more wood chips all around here, and put some boxes down, then the wood chips, and then the cardoons and the comfrey right here right here will help suppress the creeping buttercups. I also have an Ann in here that is a volunteer. When I say Ann, that's raspberry. It might have some spurs come up, like right over here, and this right here is a salmon berry, I think, that end up getting in here. I'll probably yank all of that out of there, and then, like I said, it'll put the cardoons there. Once those cardoons are out of here, then I will proceed to move these two olives right here and put them one there and one there. Need to get that done. But so far so good. We're making progress, doing some catch up here. All right, the next little project. We have 2 bay laurels here, 2 different kinds. I can't remember exactly what the difference was between the 2, but they both are bay laurels. This one is doing magnificent, and it is time to box her up, at least top it and kind of trim off to the sides. This bay laurel, get up closer here, is still a little too thin. I don't want to do too much to it. Probably leave this guy alone and continue to try to encourage it to fill in and press on. But for now, I will get to this one and get it trimmed up, and I will be right back. Okay folks, we got this one all cleaned up. I did a little bit of topping on the top, just barely nipping it up, boxing it up, and we had a lot on the inside here that was growing and needed to be thinned out. I had a couple that were growing down. I want this area to fill in a little bit better, so I left some of these branches here to help fill this in, and then we'll box it up better later on. But for now, she's looking really good. It's a beautiful bay, as you can see, looking good. Got it trimmed off on the back side as well, a little bit better. Let's see if I can't get around here without causing too much problems. Yeah, got her cleaned up, boxed up, and got a nice little pile here of bay leaves. We'll get those dried, packaged, and probably put them, clean them up too, and get them on Facebook Market, make a buck or two off of them things. We have so many for personal use already. Okay, on to the next little project. Alrighty, and here we are back. The magnolia has been nipped and tucked and trimmed. And like I said, I just nipped a little bit off that top and get that growth to kind of just level out or plane out a little bit, so that way it's more of a bush. This poor thing, I wouldn't even say poor, it's been a gorgeous bush ever since we got it, or tree that has turned more into a bush. It grew funny down here at the bottom, so it didn't have one stalk coming up. It actually had 2 or 3, and I had to literally stake it and pull it and try to get it to grow the way it is right now, up a little bit right down here. As you can see, that trunk right there used to be 2 trunks, and it used to grow more towards me down on the ground, but I had put a metal pipe all the way down in there and just kind of forced that thing to straighten up a little bit as it's grown. I've gotten that all cleaned up, so now what I'm doing is I'm just keeping it pruned. As you can see, nothing is growing down underneath of it now. It's kind of hard, brown on brown, I suppose, but anyways, most all of the lower downward branches have been cut off. Some of the highly intertwined branches, like this one right here was growing straight up inside all of this up here. I got rid of that. I had one right here, this little one growing in. A couple other little ones. I do want it to fill in a little bit on the inside, but I want it to not cross because we don't want to cause disease or problems or wear or whatever. But so it got a simple cleanup. Anything growing down, cleaned up. I had to take a big branch right here that was growing straight down, a couple on the other side, a couple down here off the trunk that were growing straight in and down into the ground. Got all that cleaned up. So now she's lifted a little bit, planed out, and trimmed up. So looking good, looking good, looking good. All right, on to the next. All right, folks, I'm back again. Got a little bit of the area picked up from all of the cuttings that I had done. Got the eucalyptus in the bay in the house, so that way I can start cleaning that later on tonight. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to go through the sedum. I'm going to cut all of the gold stuff off of it. This California lilac right here, it's growing too far up on this side of the bank. I want it to bush up a little bit better. The missus likes it, but doesn't like its form. So we're going to shape for her, and hopefully it'll get that in the right place, doing the right thing. We got a lot of chamomile right in through here, so I'll trim that back probably later on. Right now, concentrate on the sedum down here. Get the California lilac trimmed up, and then I also have a this forsythia that's right here. It also is growing a bit irregular and starting to get too tall, so we're gonna move this back a little bit, just a hair. I'm gonna cut some of these stragglers up so that way it stays in a good bush. And then we got black and bloom salvia here. I can't remember what that plant is, but I'm also going to trim that down. So I will get back to you as soon as I get that stuff done. Okay, folks, we got it all a little more done. We got the black and bloom is cleaned up. I got the I wish I could remember that plant, but there's another plant that was right there. We got it cut down. Again, Himalayan is cut down. At the very edge is winter jasmine, so now sun can get to it, and we'll get it laced up inside the cattle panel. And that, as well as the forsythia, which is I also trimmed and got it going. I got some of the stuff that's going down that was growing into the ground. There's actually, I don't know if it's hard to see, but there is a plant right there that is a branch down that has now rooted. So this spring I'll actually remove that and I'll have another forsythia plant somewhere else. But I did top it up a little bit, cleaned all the ones that were growing straight down. I still got some over here that are still growing down, like right there, but I want to leave them for right now. I do want this thing to fill in just a little bit better. We got a currant right here, a black currant. That's this right here. We're going to try to leave that one alone for right now. I didn't do any trimming to this 5-in-1. I'm going to leave it. I had it stringed, pulled, so that way it would funnel out a little bit better. So now I'm just going to let it grow and see what happens. But anyhow, that whole area is now cleaned out for the winter, except for the pineapple sage. And I will wait for the pineapple sage. The agapanthus, I think I want to wait just probably yet another, maybe in the middle of next month, and I will probably cut that back and get it going for spring. Elephant ears are still going. I'm going to leave them alone. We got geranium still kind of thinking they're doing okay, but they'll eventually die off, and we'll get that cleaned up. We got a bicolor hybrid dahlia that's right there. I'll probably cut that all of the dead off of it and get it back down to the base, clean it all up and get it ready for spring. Over here, the high winds have knocked over my canis,
but it's done anyway, so it can just sit there for the moment until I get to it. I will put it back up, and then I'm just going to cut it down and stop it growing for this season, and it'll be ready for next. I do need to clean the filter out though. We'll get to that here in a little bit. Right now I just need to get all these trimmings done. This 5-in-1 apple right here, here in a little bit after I get done cleaning up all of the rest of this stuff, I'm going to take a little bit of break. I will actually string it and rope it down so that way it opens up, so that way each one of the different types is more open and more accessible to the light. I won't do any trimming to it, not this year. This is its first year in the ground, first full season in the ground. I planted it last fall, so I'm still going to give it another year to do its thing, bend it back, open it up, and then this next fall or winter of 2025, I will actually cut the verticals off of it, start to begin to shape it, and press on. For now, it's good to go. Bay laurel, we got it thinned up, cleaned up, leveled out, boxed up, looking good. The over here, as you can see right there, I got the California lilac. It is now cut way back over here. I'm going to leave the front side alone and see how it, or back side, depending on who you talk to. And we'll get with the missus and see if we need to do any more to that. But I think for now, it is good and trimmed up and cleaned up. And then right here, I cleaned up the sedum, all the dead off of it, got it cleaned up. Magnolia is done. That eucalyptus is done. These crab apples, this one here and this one here, I'll back up a little bit so you can see them both. So this one here and that one there, I am also going to string that up and umbrella it, open it up, so that way I can start to shape it, form it without having to cut. I don't want to cut it this year. This is their very first full season. We planted them probably mid to late spring, early summer. So I want to leave them alone, let them grow. But I do want to start to form, start to shape them. And I think for now, we have done a pretty good job of doing catch-up. I still need to get to the cardoons. Like I said, I want to take a little bit of break right now, get some food in my belly. But yeah, I want to get these moved and get the two olive trees moved into their area. That currant right there is a black currant. I'm going to leave it alone. I already did some nipping on it earlier. And then there's 3 artichokes right there. I'm going to leave them alone. And then I want to clean up all this mess. Eventually, I need to pull back all of this mint and get it back over here to where it's just a small little strip. I usually let it go throughout the entire year. And then Mrs. and I, we usually cut it for one thing or another. It's now grown more than we want, so we'll pull it back. Same with the Japanese flame grass. That's this right here. I need to draw it back quite a bit. It's starting to take over. We got some astables in there. We got pig squeak right there. Another little pig squeak over there. And some just leftover stuff. We got some leftover, I think that's kale that was in there. The helleboards are over here. I'm going to clean them up a little bit, and then I need to put in a good layer of compost through here. I'm going to wait until late winter and very early spring to cut back all of the asparagus right in through there. I'll weed all of that out, cut it all back, clean it, throw some fresh compost on that, and press on. The ashitaba, that's this plant right in through here. It bloomed this year, so I'm not real sure if this plant, it's supposed to be a biennial, and once it blooms, that means that plant is done for. But who knows? Maybe it'll shoot, it pops off, or reseed itself. But I'm going to try to take care of this as much as possible and get it all shaped up. Looking good, folks. Looking good. We're cleaning things up. Anyhow, I'm going to stop for right now.